Hey guys, thank you for being here. Before I get into the video, I just wanted to say that everything in this video is subjective and based on my own experience, so take what you want from it. Tip number 1 is you need to learn how to talk about yourself. A piece of advice that I got from my sister when interviewing was to take a blank sheet of paper and write down things that have made you you. This could be accomplishments, setbacks, things about your upbringing, whether that's cultural or moving around a lot, stuff like that. Then go online and look up behavioral interview questions. In these interviews, they will be asking you questions similar to these. And then what you can do is you can look at your sheet of paper and start to tailor those questions to the answers that you have on your sheet of paper. Because sometimes one situation can be used to answer more than one question, and it will be hard in the moment to know exactly what to say to a question they ask if you don't prepare ahead of time. For example, your greatest accomplishment could be used to describe your greatest accomplishment, but it might also be used for a time that you worked really hard or had to work with others, depending on what your greatest accomplishment was. It's also really important to practice. It's one thing to have these answers written out on a sheet of paper, but if you can practice with a roommate or a friend, that will really help solidify your ability to speak on your experience. Another thing people often advise to do is to look up the STAR method. STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result. This framework is a really good way to answer the questions that you're going to be asked, because sometimes it's really easy to forget the result, and that's often the most important part of your answer. So my next piece of advice is to do research on the specific business fraternity you're interviewing for. I know a lot of campuses might have multiple fraternities, and it might seem like all their pillars are the same, but there might be some minute differences in there, and what you should do is look on the website, social media, and try to find out something specific about that fraternity. So if they ask you, why do you want to be in this organization specifically, you can have an answer ready that doesn't sound super generic and that could be applied to any organization. If any of the fraternities you're interviewing for have social rounds, this will give you a chance to talk about non-professional related stuff, as well as maybe play games with brothers. My piece of advice here is to definitely be yourself, but also don't try to think too hard over the fact that they're thinking whether or not to let you into the fraternity, because if you try too hard, then you might not give other candidates a chance to speak, and that will come off to the brothers as well. So they definitely want someone who is respectful and can be themselves, but also let other people have the chance to shine. The more general pieces of advice include just be aware of your interactions with brothers outside the rush process. This isn't like a confined process. So if you are in a group project with someone who's in a business fraternity and you don't do any of the work, and then you try to rush the business fraternity, that brother will remember that, and that might be something that they want to bring up when considering you admission into the fraternity. So just be aware of your interactions outside of this process, because that's part of it as well, from my experience. If you meet me on social night and we totally hit it off, that's great luck, because there are over 70, 80 people in some of these organizations, and that means so many different personalities. So if you talk to someone else, it might not be as good of a conversation because you guys might not hit it off as much. So remember that the process isn't perfect, and sometimes it's just luck of the draw of who you get to talk to. If you rush a business fraternity one time and you don't get in, and you really want to be in that one, you should reach out to a brother that you met during the process, ask to get coffee sometime, and maybe you can talk about what you can do to improve so that you have better chances of getting in next time. Business fraternity does give you the opportunity to meet maybe some more people in your major, to do some community service and professional development, but that doesn't mean that that's something that everyone needs to do. There are so many organizations on whatever campus you're on that can give you what a business fraternity looks like it'll give you, so don't stress about it. I would suggest going through the process just for the practice of interviewing, and if you don't get in, no worries. So those are all my thoughts. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.